This is Eston for Vulnificus. Going to be conducting this interview. We got with Death Metal Promotion. Going to be answering a couple of questions. And just wanted to let you guys know that Inextricable is out now. You can check it out on all streaming services. On our Bandcamp, vulnificusbdm.bandcamp.com. Just check us out. Be online, vulnificusbdm.com. And let's get into it, man. I'm the vocalist of the band, founder member of the band. Vulnificus has been around since October 2021. So, yeah, let's get into it. First question is, what's the story behind the name of the band Vulnificus? The name Vulnificus was started by me and the former member Wilson. Basically, it means wounded. That's pretty much the name behind Vulnificus. The reason why we chose that name is because we wanted to do something that was like one name and just like really impactful. So, all of our favorite bands, they pretty much got one word names like Suffocation, Malignancy, Immolation, Obituary, those type of names. So we just wanted to have that name to kind of try to set the tone of what it was that we were gonna do. So Vulnificus, it just kind of rolled off the tongue, real simple, real easy, and that's why we just came with the name. I guess as they say, the rest is all history. So the second question is, can you share the creative process behind Inextricable? The creative process was real simple. Just keep the same trend that we had on the first two EPs, Invocation and a Nomination. Just pretty much just keep the same trend going, just old school, brutal, heavy, just disgusting sounding death metal. Just like back to basics, back to, the primitive, old school sounding ways. But just like influence from different bands, like, a lot of bands are influenced from like the early 90s type of stuff. But our style, more influenced by like the late 90s, like early and mid 2000s, unique leader type of bands. So I wanted to kind of bring that era back with the music. So, Inextricable is kind of just like, just a mix of the old and the mix of the new. So, the creative process was real simple, just continue the intensity, but, just kind of make things a little bit more evil in a different sense. And, the first two releases we had with a drum machine. So, I wanted to make this one a little bit more special because after the member switch, I just figured it would be a good idea to just continue on with the natural band with actual real drums. So that was the first thing that was a part of the process, was just make sure that you got like actual real drums on it. And then from there, it was just all about the riffs, because the riffs are pretty much going to tell the story for you. And that's why I selected the people that I selected. So shout out to Jameson and Evan. Jameson from Prophecy of Suffering and Evan from Daddy Driven. With their capabilities, it wasn't really that difficult to come up with the sound. I just told them just kind of keep it old school, and they knocked that shit out the park. And that's pretty much how Inextricable came together, and that's pretty much how our first album came together. It's pretty much written at this point. It's just a matter of recording it. So that's about it. That's how our process came together. The songs was written shortly after we had the member switch. Everything came together really quickly, and that's why the result came together quickly. So hope you guys like it. Like I said before, to start this off, if you haven't had a chance to go listen to it, check it out online. We're on all streaming services. vulnificusbdm.bandcamp.com. You can listen to it there. You can buy our CD there, and you can check it out on New Standard Elite as well. It's on the YouTube. It's on the Facebook page, Instagram page. So it's definitely accessible. It's definitely something you can easily get your hands on. So we're gonna move on to the next question. The next question is, what themes did you explore in this release? I think, like I said before, this EP is our third EP, so I just wanted to continue continue the themes, continue what we was talking about, continue the intensity. So didn't really explore anything new, but just made it a lot more psychological, just from the standpoint of just psychological from the standpoint of the protagonist and the people involved and the stories that I'm trying to tell. So it's more psychological, like you get more of a behind the curtain mindset. You get a more behind the curtain perspective on the mindset behind what's going on. So on vacation, the subliminal messaging. I was just talking about what was going on at the time with COVID and the vaccine and everything like that. So the thing about the themes, I would say we explored was just talking a little bit more about the corruption and the medical malpractice of what's going on today. And that's about it. Pretty much the eternity and incarnation. That's what that song is about. It's just about like medical malpractice from the standpoint of the patient. And with that said, move on to the next question. So the next question is, could you give us some background on the EP cover? So the EP cover was done by Power One. He's done the cover for pretty much all of our releases at this point. He did the cover for Stabbing, latest EP, and pretty much I kind of wanted to go with something very simple, stripped down, but also very like elaborate and esoteric at the same time. So definitely has that very equal like Lovecraft type of look, type of thing going on. Because like I said, I wanted to make this music very intense and evil sounding. So just having the simple evil artwork kind of just set the tone for that. And Power One did a really great idea. It's basically the transition from the old world into the new world. And that's pretty much how it is. The word inextricable means, impossible to tear away from. So I'm hoping with this release and everything that goes forward with this band, we'll be here for a long time to come. So we're going to move on to the next question as well. So the next question is, in your opinion, is having a label deal crucial in today's industry? No, it's not crucial. I don't think anything is crucial in the music today as long as you put the work in. That's pretty much it. In this day and age, you could pretty much get the same exposure. I mean, social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, all these different avenues. It's different avenues for people to reach you. There's different avenues for people to engage with you. So, I mean, having a label is helpful. It's helpful. It's definitely helpful, because you don't want to be a one-man army. In that aspect, you don't want to be a one-man army. So having a label is helpful in that regards, to where they'll help push the name and the engagements places that where you initially can't go yourself. But like, if you don't have a label, that just means you just gotta do more work. That's pretty much it. Like, but it's not crucial. It's only crucial if you kind of have one hand tied behind your back, and in a way of like, you don't have funds to do stuff, yourself. In 2023, it's very easy to be self-sustainable with the music. Put it out yourself, record it yourself, everything like that. So you can do everything yourself. You don't need a label. But sometimes to take that next step, the label, having a label behind you, definitely always helps. It always helps. So I don't know if that was a good answer or not, but I mean, you can do it yourself. Like, there are tons of bands out here doing it themselves, but it requires more work. So it really is just a matter of you. The future, whatever you're doing musically, it all lies in your hands. And you definitely shouldn't have the future of your musical projects and your musical aspirations be in the hands of the label, because the other side of it too is that a label could shelf you. You could have your music already complete, and label take their sweet time with the music, and then it cuts into your plans. So it really is just a matter of you and your work ethic, and what you want and your vision for what you see for yourself and where you want your music to go. So next question is, when did you start listening to death metal, and what led you to discover and become a fan of the genre? Pretty much what led me to become a fan of the genre is because it was the antithesis of everything that I listened to at the time. Pretty much, I got into death metal. Around like 2002, 2003. So at that time it was just like very like, for me, I was just coming from the rap and coming from like the nu metal type of stuff. I just wanted something that was heavier, faster, more aggressive, and just something that fit how I felt. At the time I felt really, like angry at the world and shit. So I needed music that was like, that matched that energy. And death metal was it. When I first found Cannibal Corpse and Death and Malignant Creation, Suffocation, Malignancy, and those type of bands, like it was just like match made in heaven for me. I first started listening to death metal. I was around 11 or 12, but I want to say like I didn't really like capture me. I didn't really like get into the bands like the way that I am now. Probably until around like 03, 04. Maybe around the time like Suffocation came back, and like when Morbid Angel's Heretic album came out. That was around the time, I want to say like that's when like really like captured me. That was pretty much how I got into death metal, and then from there it was just me just running to the CD store, just trying to just find anything that sounded good based on the recommendations of the people that I had in the message groups and the message forums that I was in at the time, and a lot of it too was just like my own curiosity, just like whatever album cover looked interesting to me, I just bought it, and sometimes it was good and sometimes it was bad, but thankfully I had the ability to sell the records. So yeah, it was a lot of records that I bought, a lot of records that I sold. So it's definitely not like today. Next question is, if you could change one thing about the music industry, what would it be? I think if I had to change anything about the music industry, it would be the perception of Spotify and streaming platforms as a whole. I just don't think there's really a need for like the level of disdain that people have for it. To me, it just kind of feels like the equivalent of going to your employer and complaining that your boss makes more than you. So I just think that when you have the bottom line, and the bottom line is, turn some type of a profit to keep your band going and your project going, and reaching fans. It's a bigger landscape now than it's been. A lot of it because of platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and MySpace, even from back in the day, Reverb Nation. What was hard to do before is very easy to do, and sometimes I feel like we take it as artists, we take it for granted, as artists and as fans too, because it's so easy to get it. You don't understand what it was when we lose it. I had just talked about when I first got into metal, how I bought things just because of the cover and things like that. Well, now you don't have to do that. You don't have to spend your money to do that. You can just go on a streaming platform and just truly sample it the way it's supposed to be heard on a streaming platform. And if you like it, you could just follow the band, follow the artist. And because the artist, will typically have an Instagram, Facebook, YouTube page or something like that, you can follow the artist, and when the artist comes to your town, you can spend way more money with the artist potentially when they're in your town and you get the full experience. It's a lot easier to do that now than how it used to be when I first got into music. So I do feel that if we could change one thing about the music industry is not really be so focused on the machinations behind Spotify, because at the end of the day, it's bringing something for all of us as musicians and as fans, something that we would have never had otherwise, and it would have been 2, 3, 4 times more difficult to hear and to reach the people that we want to reach as a whole, and that's really good. Next question is, have you encountered any memorable epic fails during live performances? Epic fails, I'd probably say, other than show getting canceled, maybe while you're playing. That's pretty epic, getting show shut down. I guess maybe the times I've tripped on stage, just from tripping over wires, falling off the stage, just because the stage might be a little too narrow. Maybe I took the wrong step or something and I fell off the stage. Many memorable epic fails. Yeah, I can't recall any true epic fails. Maybe just other than the ones the aforementioned ones I just listed. So next question is, are there any recent music or movies that have deeply impressed you? Any recent music? I would say the music by my guitarist, Jameson, Prophecy and Suffering, and the music from Evan from Dead and Drippin', just because I was so impressed by the music that they created that I asked them to continue this band. And just the bands that we've played with, the bands that we're friends by, Buzzboil, Obscene, Worship. There's just tons of bands that, we've gotten friends with, accustomed to, Immortal Suffering, Putridity, Cenotaph. There's a lot of bands that, as a whole, we've gotten friends with and, got words of encouragement from and support from. So just when that happens, that's always impressive, because, you just never know who's listening, who's out there. And it's always a good feeling to know that you're not playing to nobody, or you're not playing to just your close friends. There's somebody out there in a foreign country that's actually listening to you, actually following you. And they possibly requesting, when are you coming? So, yeah, that's about it. I typically don't watch movies. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't watch movies. Just kind of feel like it don't really benefit me. So there's no reason to watch any movies. But I'll watch a documentary or something that's informational, something that I could take away, something I could take away from it. Just something that'll help me build. Alright, next question. So what are your thoughts on the future of death metal as a genre? I feel that the future of death metal as a genre is bright, as long as the players in the genre stay consistent. I think that's one of the problems that the genre has had in the past, is that the people in the genre and in the bands, haven't been the most consistent. Just dysfunctional band dynamics, just dysfunction as a whole. Keeping a band and just even getting a band together is difficult. So to keep that and maintain that all throughout the years, multiple years, it's really difficult. And that's just hopefully this band as well could maintain consistency, because when you talk about the upper echelon of bands and stuff like that, it's always the ones that are the most consistent. So I think the future of death metal as a whole is bright, just because there's more ears on it. There's more people open to listening to the music. and there's just way more bands, way more fans now than I can recall when I got into music. And just way more people buying music, supporting music, and all it needs is just the music to reach the right ears, and then it will definitely expand the way that it needs to. It definitely is not going anywhere. It's already been around about 30 plus years. So it's just about expanding, reaching the right people, playing in the right places, and just having the right band take off. Pretty much as a whole, when one band makes it, as cliche as it says, when one band makes it, we all do. So, best of luck to the bands out there pushing out the sick music, hopefully maintaining the integrity and the morals and just keeping it sick, man. So, the next question is, can you describe the current death metal scene in your area? The current death metal scene in my area is pretty good. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's pretty decent. We got a lot of good bands. We got good venues, Preserve Underground, Shred Shed, amongst others. Just a lot of bands just pushing the name. A lot of bands playing together. So, just whenever you guys get a show, come through to Pittsburgh, you can definitely contact me or contact the page and let us know what's going on. Ohio's not that far from here too, so it gets very, bands from there come over here and vice versa. So it's very collaborative in that sense. So shout out to Vulnificus and Postmortal Possession, Disgruntled Anthropophagy. All the bands, all the little bands just pushing it forward. And that's about it. So the next question is, what's your top favorite death metal album of all time and why? My top all-time favorite death metal my all-time top favorite death metal album of all time would probably be Cannibal Corpse Vile, just because that's the album that got me into death metal. That's the album that pretty much crafted my vocal style. That's the album that pretty much it made me who I am today. Everything about that album it's just pretty much perfect to me, from the vocals to the guitars, the bass, the drums, the production. It's not too clean, it's not too dirty. The artwork is graphic, but it's not too graphic. And the songs, it's 11 songs, about 40 minutes, so the album doesn't run too long. And I just think when it comes to the top death metal albums of all time, to me, that is definitely the one that I would put up there, Cannibal Corpse Vile. Next question is, the best death metal album cover art. I'd probably say, for me, I'd probably say something like some of the C grade ones, but some of the darker color scheme ones. I'd probably say, off the top of my head, I'd probably say something like Erosion of Sanity by Gorguts and Gateways to Annihilation by Morbid Angel. I'd probably say those two. Those are I would say those are pretty much up there as some of my favorite album covers. Maybe Failures for Gods, Immolation, Here and After, Dawn of Possession. That artist is really great. I like his artwork. Those are pretty awesome artworks. And artwork that came in the album cover with it. I like those albums a lot. Those albums are really great too. So I'd probably say that. Let's see. We got a couple more questions left, and then we wrap this up. Is there a death metal song or album that deeply resonated with you, shaping your perspective or evoking intense emotions? I would say the death metal album that deeply resonated with me, probably Cryptopsy, Not So Vile. Just for the aggression and just how how intense that album was when I heard it. Like I said, I got into death metal when I was around like 11 or so. So I heard Cryptopsy Mental Bow just on a random buy at a CD store when I was about like 13, 14. And yeah, I want to say that album resonated with me a lot. Way more than a lot of albums. So I'd probably say that one. And then I'd probably say Death Symbolic, just because of the lyrical content of the album. It wasn't very like, I guess it wasn't really like brutal, gory in the sense like that. It was just really like philosophical, very like empowering. So like, I like that album a lot for that reason. That album really resonated with me. And that was about it. And so for the final question of this interview, is how does the lyrical content impact your appreciation of the genre? It definitely impacts it from the standpoint of just, the vocals. You want to know what someone is saying and follow the lyric sheet, when you get the CD, especially when it's a album that you really like. And that's why all the albums that I mentioned all throughout this interview they're all just like top like favorites of mine. Gateway's Annihilation, Gorguts, Malevolent Creation, Suffocation, Immolation, all those bands that I mentioned, all the lyrical content, it definitely makes me appreciate the genre because they had something to say, and it definitely is something that I like, and I take it into my own way when I do Vulnificus. And those are the lyrical content. It makes you appreciate. What they did when they were doing it, so that when you come and do what you're doing, with your own music, or for my case, Vulnificus, you appreciate it way more. So you definitely appreciate the genre way more because you definitely want to raise your creativity level to the same level of the bands that you were inspired by. Because one day I hope to play with the bands that I've been inspired by. And so yeah, that's why I always have a appreciation for the lyrical content. But at the same time, the lyrical content could be it could be a reason why you don't really appreciate the band or the genre as a whole too, because sometimes some of the bands can go a little off the rails with it, a little too offensive. Not for me, but just like as a whole, just like the subjects of just assaults and the gory topics and things like that. The unsavory things that happen in society, you know what I'm saying, that we don't like to talk about too much. That could be a turn off to a lot of people, just that type of thing. So, and that makes people not appreciate the music for what it is, which is just all just artistic expression, you know what I'm saying? So, sometimes it makes you appreciate it, and then other times it makes you kind of despise the genre, and it makes you just like not even want to listen to it altogether, and that could be the reason why, it's just kind of held back the genre as a whole. But I think back to the previous question, the future of death metal is very bright, and I think the lyrical content, I don't think it matters as much, because I think a lot more people are appreciating the musicianship that goes into the music that we create. And with that said, I appreciate everybody for tuning into this long interview. I appreciate Death Metal Promotion for sending me these questions. And Inextricable is out now, like I said, to start this interview. You can listen to our interview online. You can listen to our EP, our third EP online. That's vulnificusbdm.bandcamp.com, vulnificusbdm.com. We're on Instagram and we're on Facebook at Instagram at Vulnificus BDM, Facebook.com/Vulnificus BDM. You can find us online. This shirt behind me is one of our tour shirts from our first tour that we did with Cordyceps. We did that last month. We got some videos on our Instagram and on our Facebook. You can check it out. And we'll have some more videos coming soon. Check us out on YouTube as well. That's at Vulnificus BDM. And with that said, we hope to see you guys on the road in 2024. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And this is Eston, vocals of Vulnificus. And we hope to see you guys out on the road. Stay tuned, share the music with your friends, and hopefully we'll catch you sometime soon.